Yep. All right, are you ready for this?
Yep. Go ahead, I'm right behind him.
Okay.
He's watching you, I'm right behind him.
You got me, dude? Who's
Yeah, I
shooting
got
me?
you. You good? Oh, I got you, I got you, I got you. There was two mans.
Thanks, man.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Yuka, and welcome to my Path of the Nomad build for 1.8. So the global event has just ended today, and I think it's about time. I finally got my 6-piece Nomad build. I was rocking a 5-piece classified for the longest time, and I am ready to go and share this build with people because I see a lot of nomads running builds that are pretty squishy. Everyone seems to concentrate solely on firepower and they seem to neglect health. So without any further delay, I'm going to just jump straight into it. I'm running an lightweight M4 with deadly and vicious on it. I actually don't have vicious activated currently. I usually switch out the mask or the gloves for something else that have health rolled on them, or if you're like me, you change your gear mods a lot and you switch like health or like percentage crit based damage. On top of that, it has destructive. It's kind of good just for bursting down NPCs to gain health. The mods on it are 121% magazine size, 4.5% reload speed, 4.9% rate of fire. It has a reflex sight with crit hit chance at 6%, 5.5% headshot damage, and optimal range. It's nothing fancy. Suppressor is actually mainly on there for a little bit of extra stability. Reduced threat is useful, I guess, if you use PvE or you build for PvE, but this build will pretty much be suitable for both. Second to that, I have the house with deadly and hurried. I have three houses right now. I'm kind of just playing with the options there. It's base damage at 23.8k with 8,743 firearms. It has, like I said, it has deadly and hurried on it. Hurried makes your reload speeds ridiculous, considering that critical hit increases the reload speed by 10% to a minimum of 1 second. It is pretty much instantaneous because you crit so high with this, since the submachine gun class has crit hit chance already rolled onto it. You want to increase your crit hit chance and crit hit damage as often as possible. So nothing fancy, it just has deadly and hurried. The other one I have has unforgiving and deadly, and the other one that I have, which is 269, has competent and brutal on it. They're kind of a mixed bag, but this is the one that I predominantly roll with just because it suits my playstyle of constantly firing. And when the other guy's reloading, they tend to run, or they pop medkits and try and do like a little chicken dance to get out the way. I instantly reload and just keep shooting most of the time. Anyway, for the Nomad's chest piece, it's rolled to firearms with 5% health on kill and 16,000 health as the major attributes. I would highly recommend rolling ammo capacity on all chest pieces just because it's one of the highest percentage rolls that you can get, especially if you do a lot of PvP and a lot of Dark Zone running and all that fun and interesting stuff. As for the mods, it just has stamina mod and an armor mod on it. I'm sorry, no, it has an electronics mod on it, which has armor on it. So that's you guys probably won't be able to have this unless you're a vanilla player. You could easily switch that out for something like a crit hit chance for firearms and an additional stamina mod. You see how quickly I can up the toughness there? I can gain like another 16,000 almost with exotic damage resilience, another one with crit hit chance, but that's personal preference. Really, mods are kind of personal preference. I'd recommend running 1% crit hits on most of them other than health mods. For the mask, I have 4% crit hit chance and 17 burn resistance, just because currently so many people are using fire turrets and classified Firecrest is gaining some traction. That has a firearms mod with 3,219 health attached to it. The knee pads have 1% crit and self-heal, and they have 9% crit hit damage along with blind death resistance, burn resistance, and unfortunately increased kill XP. I do have another pair down here which has damage to elites. I haven't rerolled any of these talents, so I might play with this one a little bit later. But as for the mods, they have 1% crit hit chance and first aid self-heal. Because the electronics is so low at 3,102 electronics, I feel like that self-heal is more beneficial than not most of the time. We'll get into like abilities and skills in a second, and I'll kind of talk about the potential for a station, immunizer box, etc. My backpack has 1401 stamina roll along with 13339 health. Bit of bleed resistance, just because people nade spam a lot too. I want to try and pick up bleed resistance. I might roll that off for burn resistance, but 9 times out of 10 it takes a while to 1 set me on fire and 2 keep me on fire. So I can usually get back into a fight. Worst case scenario, I pop a med kit if I'm getting CC'd to hell and remove that CC. As for the mods, I have a 241 firearms mod that has health attached to it, a 6% first aid self-heal, and a 5% first aid ally heal. The first aid ally heal is not really needed, but I tend to run in a group, so it's kind of beneficial for me. I usually go duo, sometimes solo, sometimes in a group of 3 or 4. The gloves have crit hit chance, SMG damage, and crit hit damage rolled on them too. It's important to stress that if you're going to use the house, that you want to roll SMG damage on them and critical hit damage along with crit hit chance. But if you are using an assault rifle and you have the majority of talents unlocked for it, you might want to play around in like skirmish or some other PvP atmosphere where you can kind of play with the damage rolls on those. As for the mods, obviously no mods on gloves. The holster is where it gets a little bit more interesting though, because it's obviously 1401 max stat rolls, it's been maxed with div tech, and it has 8,337 health as the major attribute. A lot of people roll things like damage as major attributes, and I see why they do that, and I get where they're coming from, but for regards to still being tanky, I kind of feel like that health is just a little bit of an extra bonus. And then again, I have a first aid self-heal at 6% on there. It's definitely not completely exactly how I want it. I wish all of my self-heals were at 6%, but unfortunately can't have everything our way. With regards to my abilities, I run, typically when I run in a group, I run the tactical scanner. Right here, damage increase when attacking hostile agents identified by pulse scan. It gives you an additional 7.7% crit and a max of 10.3% crit hit damage. I run booster shot, which heals me for top of almost 50,000 health. Heals allies for almost 44,000 health. It's not much, but considering that it gives you a temporary damage increase and damage resistance, it's great for team fights because you can pop it on the fly on the ground and everyone can walk into it. And it's also good for kind of like bringing you back from the brink, or using it as kind of like a 50% way like fight. You take a little bit of damage, pop that, and just keep fighting. For me it works, it might not work for you, but I find it pretty beneficial. As for the talents, I run Adrenaline, which gives you 7 seconds of immunity from status effects. It's great against Predator. When they proc that bleed on you, I tend to let it tick into me as long as possible and then pop it right at the end because I'm running critical save. So critical save will remove, will reduce the damage that you take by 20% because it gives you increased damage resistance. On top of that, I also run on the move, which is great for either killing down players while moving, because it will reduce your incoming damage by 15% for 10 seconds. And then 1 is none, just because although my reload is pretty much instantaneous, especially with the amount of crit hit shots that you get off on other players or NPCs, the less time you spend reloading and the less often you reload, the longer you're in the fight and the longer you're outputting damage. Now, with regards to the DPS, everyone by now has kind of figured out, like, none of this is really a true reflection of what you technically do. Like, you know, things like increased headshot damage take into account you consecutively hitting headshots, etc. But for those of you interested, the mods I'm running is an Omega rifle suppressor, hand stop, extended mag, reflex sight, and I just have the stealth camo purple on there. And for the house, again, just to recap, I have a loud vent brake, a small grip, an extended mag, which I don't run at 121 capacity, even though I could. I actually prefer the rate of fire so that I can get more damage on target in the shortest amount of time possible. And I have a mini reflex sight because the regular reflex sight and the micro dot tend to be, I don't know, I just feel like they don't give me the hits that I need. Anyway guys, that is my build that's finally almost complete for 1.8. If you guys like this content, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Subscribe if you want to see some more Division builds, because I will be doing a Firecrest for sure. Probably a Tacticians for PvE, because I don't really see the point in Tactician and PvE. And I'm going to go ahead and roll in some additional fight footage of some DZ content for you guys. Like I said, if you enjoyed this video and it helped you out, please go ahead and click that like button. If you want to subscribe to stay up to date with other build videos that I'm going to do, or perhaps updates on my 1.8 Nomad build and other Division content, then feel free to subscribe. Until next time guys, I will see you in the next one.
You can call me killer, 'cause I'll bring you to the light. And it might taste bitter when you're answering to God. You can call me killer as you look